And we are back. If you're hearing this, it means another night of World Cup football has just happened while half of us were supposed to be sleeping, but probably weren't. Welcome to this edition of Match Day. We have a few stories from the matches that were played yesterday night. There were six matches, which were basically a big one, as it was the last round of games in groups A, B, and C. Six matches, six stories. Grab your coffee, get comfortable, and let's go. So we start with Group A. We start in Mexico City, the Azteca, famous old stadium. You've seen it in 100 photos, and last night it was bouncing. Mexico had already qualified, right? So job done. So this game against the Czech Republic was basically a party with football match breaking out in the middle of it. It ended 3-0. The Czech Republic could have actually booked their place in the next round if they had got a result. But Chavez, Quinones, and Fidalgo right at the date put pay to those hopes. 3 wins from 3, not a single goal conceded. Lovely. But here's the story I want you to hold on to. It's about two players at the absolute opposite ends of life. One of them is a boy called Gilberto Mora, 17 years old. 17. At 17, most of us were losing our minds over an exam. Unless, of course, you are playing cricket and your name happens to be Vaibhav Suryavanshi. This kid started a World Cup game, youngest player to start one in 24 years, and he did not look scared at all. He slipped a pass through for the build-up to the second goal and then got a standing ovation when he came off. So remember that name, friends. You're going to be hearing it for the next 15 years or more. And then in the 78th minute, the other end of the story walks on. Guillermo Ochoa, 40 years old, the goalkeeper. Mexican fans have loved this man across like 3 generations. And last night he came on, took the captain's armband, and became one of only 3 players in history, three, to play at 6 different World Cups. The other two, Messi and Ronaldo. That is the company he is keeping. The teenager and the grandfather of the team, same night, same shirt. They threw Ochoa in at the air in the final whistle. Honestly, it was goosebumps time. Okay, same group, and this one gave me chills for a different reason. South Africa, Bafana Bafana. Now you have to understand the history here. This is a proud football country that had never, not once, made it out of the group stage at a World Cup. They tried it in 98, failed. Tried it in 2002, failed. They were the hosts in 2010, their own party, and still went out early. Heartbreak after heartbreak after heartbreak. And they started this tournament losing. So you think, here we go again, same old story. But last night against South Korea, in the 63rd minute, a winger named Shepang Moremi whips in a cross and Thapelo Maseko arrives to bury it. 1-0. And that was it. That was the goal that did it. South Africa are through to the knockouts of a World Cup for the first time in their history. First time ever. You could see grown men in the stands just covering their faces. Somewhere back home, a whole country lost its voice screaming. They finished second in the group, and now they have got Canada waiting in the next round. The South Koreans, though, they will have to wait for some more time to see if they will be one of the lucky qualifiers for the third place team. It's a depressing time for a Korean fan because they started with a bang, but this loss to South Africa was equally poignant for their opponents. Some teams chase a moment for 30 odd years. Last night, the Bafana Bafana finally caught it. Over to Group B now, and a quick one that is less about football and more about the love. Switzerland beat Canada 2-1. Vargas and Young Manzambi scored in the second half, so Switzerland tops the group, all very tidy. And Canada, who could have topped the group if they had scored one more goal, and there were countless chances, including one at the very death. Don't feel too bad for them. They are co-hosts, and they still went through as runner-up. So the party there carries on. But the bit that got me wasn't a goal. Canada have this midfielder, Ismail Kone, number 8. He got injured in the last match playing against Qatar, and he couldn't play in his home World Cup, which is gut-wrenching. That your tournament on your own soil and your body says no. And in Vancouver, fans turned up holding little homemade number 8 signs, just so he'd know, just so this guy sitting there in a tracksuit instead of a kit would look up into the crowd and see his number staring back at him. That is it. That is the whole story. Football fans are something else, man. They'll make a sign for the player who can't play. Whoever you were in that crowd with that marker pen, respect to you. We stay in Group B because Bosnia and Herzegovina absolutely got a result 3-1 against Qatar. So this 3-1, and there were goals to enjoy. There's an 18-year-old Alai Bekovic. It's a very tricky thing to pronounce his name, who absolutely smashed one in from 20 yards. The kind of strike where the keeper doesn't even move, just turns to watch it fly. It was beautiful. But the story here is Edin Džeko. If you have followed European football for any length of time, you know Džeko. Manchester City, Roma, Inter. This man has scored goals on every big stage there is. He's 40 now, and this is the last chance, the final World Cup, and everybody knows it. So Bosnia are winning. He's been part of it. And then the manager takes him off. And the cameras catch Džeko walking to the bench and just whacking a water bottle. He's furious. Not because he's a brat, because he's 40. The clock is ticking on his whole career, and every single minute on that pitch is precious to him now. He wanted more. And it is a cruel twist, yaar. Bosnia won the game, but they might still not make it through. They have to sit and wait. Hope they're one of the best teams to finish third. So Džeko gave everything, smashed his water bottle, and now he just has to wait. Football can be so unfair to the people who love it the most. Right. Next is Group C, Miami. And this one is painful for some of you. But if you have got a soft spot for the underdog, then brace yourself. Scotland, the Tartan Army. Their fans, the loudest, friendliest, most loyal traveling support in world football. They came to Miami in their thousands, believing Scotland had never in their entire history reached the knockout stage of a World Cup. Never. And last night, all they had to do was get a result against Brazil, and they were finally in. But then Brazil happened. 7th minute, a defensive mix-up at the back, and there's Vinicius Jr., the Real Madrid man, to pounce. 1-0. Before halftime, he's got another through a lovely header. Oh, and in between, he did score a third one, but that was ruled out for a controversial foul on the defender, which could have gone 50-50. I mean, if it was me, I would have said that was a goal all the time. And then in the second half, Matthias Cunha adds a third, and Scotland's dream just deflates. Right there in the Miami heat, you watched it leave the Scotland's fans' faces. 3-0, and now Scotland finished third and have to wait agonizingly and hope the maths is kind to them. Their own captain basically admitted it. It's not looking good. But here's what you have to look at it. The Tartan Army kept on singing. 3 goals down, the dream slipping away, and you could still hear them. They'll be back. They always come back. Another man who came back in that game, very game, was one Neymar. Came back after almost 2, 3 years, 3 years outside, and he played the second, last few minutes of that match. One hopes to see some goals from him in the next few rounds, as Brazil would do well to utilize Neymar's services in a very judicious way. And then we finish with this one. Honestly, I can't stop thinking about it. Morocco beat Haiti 4-2, and Morocco are brilliant. They are true. So Hakimi got himself a goal. On paper, that was routine. But look at little Haiti. You have to understand where these teams comes from to feel this one. Things back home in Haiti have been desperately hard for years. So hard that the national team can't even safely play their home games in Haiti. They have been a team without a home, and they hadn't scored a single goal at the World Cup since 1974. That's 52 years. The hero from back then, Emmanuel Sanon, scored against the great Italy team and became a legend. And then nothing for half a century. Until last night. 10th minute, and a young man named Lenny Joseph gets a cheeky little backheel flick on the ball, and it's in. Haiti are leading at a World Cup. And for a few minutes, they didn't just lead, they scored twice. And the second goal was probably one of the best bangers that we will see in this World Cup. One of the top 5 definitely at the end of this World Cup. They were toe-to-toe with one of the best teams in the tournament. Morocco's class eventually told. 4-2 and Haiti are going home. But that goal, 52 years in the past, finally delivered. For a country going through what Haiti's been going through. That's not a footnote. That's the whole reason we watch this game. And that's your lot for today. 6 games, which finishes groups A, B, and C. We have one team which has finished perfectly as the group champions. We have a host team that has 2 host teams actually that has gone through. One as the champion, one as a runner-up. And we have the fan favorite Brazil bringing on Neymar, as well as Morocco, who has established their credentials through these matches. If any of these gave you a little something, a smile, a goosebump, a no way kind of a feeling, then do me a one favor. Hit that subscribe button so this little adda lands in your feed every single match day. Drop me a comment too. Tell me which story got you. And if I missed your team's moment about, shout it at me and gently in the comments. This is the match day on European Footballer Adda. New game day, new stories tomorrow. Until then, take care of yourselves and keep loving this beautiful, ridiculous game. See you, friends.